We are. It's 11:11 on the East Coast. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today. I'm George Hudson. Joined with me is Robbie Colbreth. Robbie, we got a great episode today. It's episode 20. I am he. If you're tuning in live with us, go ahead and drop a comment. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Drop some of those emojis. Robbie, how we doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing great. Good to see you, George. Facebook is live right now. We're live right now. It's 11:11. Hey, guys, let's talk about this I am he bounce. This is awesome, man. This is all about being visionary. This is a visionary, responsible plan for us to walk into our greatness. The goal of I am he is that we create the I am he or the I am she, if you're female, so that we can begin to actualize. And when we begin to actualize, it's not just a statement that we're making. There's got to be a corresponding standard. There's got to be a corresponding action that follows this. So it's not just goals, because goals without a corresponding action, without a corresponding standard, they are great ideas. They're intentionality. And if they are what they are, they can produce energy, they can produce life, they can produce affirmation after we have confirmed with confidence that we're courageous enough to set this goal and have that goal established by a standard and have that established by a commitment, and then it becomes a plan and a design for transforming our lives. So I am he is all about right now. If you're listening to this right now, it's all about reinventing yourself, right? Reinventing yourself, because I was reading this one piece, it was the laws, 48 laws of power. And one of the things that was talking about is reinventing yourself, right? Into a powerful new image, standards that draws attention rather than letting other people define you. I think we've lost ourselves today and just being defined. And one of the core definitions that doesn't even separate us is we're just defined as human beings, and we are. But what makes you unique and what makes me unique is the character that we're shaped into based on the associations, the environment, the experiences that we're having in life. And if we don't understand that a character should be born, a person should be born, a role should be established, we should reshape from those things that we had no control over so that they don't control us per se. We should evolve into, step by step, a level of awareness where we become the actor, I am he. We become the appearance, the emotion. We become the occasion. We become the standard. We become that which is necessary to bring us to the plan that God has shown us for ourselves. Just case in point, like Abraham Lincoln, poor, the home that they came out of was nothing. But then when he tapped into his I am he believed that he could be a statesman. He believed that he could be a president, right? He believed that he could cover up all that his life was, disguising it in his role to be I am he, and then do great and awesome things. And despite the struggle of actually getting there, he had the capacity and the capability of making that happen. He believed, and he built a world around that belief. It separated him from being an ordinary human being to an extraordinary human being. I can look at the same and say the same for Michael Jordan, and I can say the same for LeBron James and Steph Curry. I can say the same for Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. I can say the same for Mother Teresa. Amazing. To the Queen who just passed. Amazing. Taking standards, attaching them to goals, aspirations, and a dream and a vision that breaks out of the format of what people define us as, and we create a definition and a meaning for our own lives. George, talk to me.
Yeah, it's all about like taking ownership and sitting in the driver's seat of your life and kind of steering it wherever you want to go, so to speak, is, based on your goals, based on your gifts, based on the people in your life, based on kind of the direction you feel God is pulling you in. it's taking that active ownership of your life and driving it exactly where you want it to go, and learning the skills, honing in on the craft and everything that goes into achieving something beyond like the average, beyond where you're at now. For anyone that wants results that they don't have, it's about learning and adapting to that process. The survival of the fittest comes into play. Like, we have to change, we have to mold, we have to grow, we have to become something different because we want the results we don't yet have. Therefore, we have to do the things we don't yet do. Um, so it's all about hacking the mind, the body, the spirit, learning more about why we're here, and then just really honing in on, what's my role? How can I be the main character in my life, and where do I want my life to go?
Yo, baby, yo, that's hot right there. Is a munchable I just picked up off of listening to this cat right here. I am he is it's an amplified potential. Every one of us has that laying dormant on the inside of us, right? I was talking to George before we came onto the broadcast, and I was talking about what I was sharing with my sons and what I wanted to experience when I was growing up. I wanted to experience college. I wanted to experience going to university, playing football, going to university, running track. Those were my two primary skill sets. Going to university and expressing myself in art and expressing myself in leadership, leading organizations on campus, and joining Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, greatest fraternity on the planet. Don't worry, everybody else, just stay tuned. But at the end of the day, joining a fraternity, joining the largest fraternity in the world, a football fraternity, right? And being able to experience those different things, being able to experience academia, and intentionally being on an honor roll, and intentionally wanting my grades to reflect what I wanted them to reflect. So I built standards, I built steps for helping me achieve these various things. And as a result, I learned how to prepare, right? And in preparation, these standards collided with the plan, and they began to help me understand how great the potential actually was on the inside of me. And so me started to evolve into what I wanted it to be. But also I had to realize too that what I was becoming, I had to put to death and put to rest what I used to be. Because if I tether to the past and what I used to be and what I used to do, it can hinder me from going forward. Matter of fact, it can almost depress me and make me overthink where I'm going. And so to be great, to be I'm he, we have to prepare. And in that, we have to understand that this preparation does matter, right? We have to practice what we are wanting to be, that I am he, so we can get to a place where we can become a walking affirmation. And because we produce the right kind of standards, we can become and excel in whatever it is we want to do. Because first, in our standard, we make it harder because we're practicing making it harder. So when we get to a real life scenario, we can produce twice as much in the time that we have. We'll produce systems that actually matter. We'll be able to trust the amplification of our practice, of our standards and our systems in the hours that we're living, so that we can get greater detail and great understanding of who we are, a greater understanding of who we are, and a greater understanding that these details actually do matter. And if we break these details down, every detail, and imagine that detail and practice that detail in an hour, in a day, in a week, when it comes time to playing the game gets easier.
Yeah, it's all about, there's a direct correlation of time spent and success doing things. So you have to first figure out what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then spend time doing it and perfecting it and finding the people around you that, you want to be this person that you not yet are, or am.
That's good.
But, and and you have to adopt the traits of that person. You have to adopt the skill set. You have to adopt the work ethic. You have to say, okay, what does it look like for someone to have, uh, you know, 20 Airbnbs? Well, first I have to start with one. I have to do all the groundwork before the work, before I can have that result. I always think of guys like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or things like that. And people want to say, oh, well, they just had it all laid out in front of them. Like, it's easy to run Amazon. Well,
No, it's not.
today it's not easy today, but it was even harder back then when
Yeah.
no one knew what Amazon was, or when Amazon was only a bookstore online,
Yep.
right? Versus this just monopoly of a company that's just running the planet seemingly. They want to step into all these other fields, and now they can do that because of the groundwork that was laid by Jeff Bezos to go out and get funding, to learn the algorithms, learn the software, learn the internet, basically, and see that opportunity before it was mainstream. So
Opportunity is in the details. Details show you the opportunity. They show you the place where imagination needs to thrive. And I think today, if we get too streamlined and normalized into what everyone else is doing, instead of practicing our details, imagining each one of those steps, practicing those steps inside of the hour, making our hour produce twice as much in that 1 hour than we're normalized in, so that when we're ready to play, we're able to see the opportunity. If we don't do that and break away from the norm, if we don't do those and pay attention to those detailed steps, we can't have what we think about. So catch this for a second. We can have a goal, but if I don't have the details and the standards that go along with the goal, then I don't have all the energy that's necessary. It won't create the energies that's necessary to help me mobilize and help me pursue strategically what it is I need to accomplish. So let me just give you this mantra right here. Opportunity shows itself in unusual places. And in those unusual places that it shows itself, it's always in the details. It's always in the details where we practice. It's in the details of what kind of confidence that I'm confirming with my courageous faith and the activities that I'm doing. Are these things creating more opportunities for me to learn and grow and earn, and for me to explore areas that heretofore had never been explored before? Again, you're talking about algorithms. Before, the word algorithm was like a spacey term that was just out there, and now it's almost mainstream terminology. And companies that are going to thrive and survive have to figure their algorithm and of what they're going to do, what their product or service is, what the delivery model is, and what makes that thing tick and what makes that thing systematically play. And they have to get details, and they have to have standards, and they have to have systems, all these things colliding. They have to have the right kind of people with the right kind of mind and growth set in order to pull these things together. I am he is all about I am the manifestation of what I believe in and what I trust in and what I put my details and my standards on. And my expectation is, because of this practice and my commitment to it, I am going to become that. And whatever that is what I've placed my details, where I place my details, where I place my effort, man, wherever I place my imagination, and what I've practiced in my thinking and my process of delivery, writing down, taking notes, exploration, passing on certain parts of where I'm going to certain people, and more importantly, the confidence that's confirmed in my courage to do something that hasn't been done exactly like I want to do it. It's not to be confirmed by someone else. It's to be confirmed by me, affirmed by me. I am he. And so then it allows me to live out a statement out of one of my favorite books, the Bible. Psalms 20:4 says, may he give you the desires of your heart to make all your plans succeed. If I put in my work, if I put in my double dose and command that I get more out of my hour, and read that and commit to that every day, then my I am he is just waiting to emerge.
yeah, I was having a conversation. I think it might have been 2 days ago with someone, and we were talking about how you hear from God.
Yep.
And one of the things that stood out to me, I have a very practical approach when it comes to like how you hear from God. And it's one of these things is where like if I'm moving in a certain direction, like and I want some insight, I want to gain knowledge, I want to gain understanding. For example, if I'm trying to close a sale, I'm on the phones, that sort of thing. I'm like, God, show me, kind of give me the awareness of how I can better myself on the phones. Like, where are the areas that I'm lacking and where are the areas I can improve? And you ask yourself that, you reflect on it with God. If you don't believe in God, you reflect on it in general, like whatever it is, and you'll get answers. Like you'll gain that awareness of, oh, when he pauses, let him pause. Like wait, don't fill the silence. Like tone, add inflection in certain areas where you're not adding it. Be more patient, because 9 times out of 10 we want to answer all the questions, provide all the information, and then say what's wrong when we haven't built that genuine connection and really cared about the person's needs
Yep.
and what they care about in terms of what they're looking for. So part of the I am he is that reflection of what am I doing that's preventing me from getting to where I am. We mention that a lot, and I think it's just a crucial process of that evolution of thought is, in order to become something else, we have to change the way we think. In order to learn and grow and be more disciplined, we have to change our actions as well. And it all starts with what we're seeking after. Is our why big enough? Is what we're chasing big enough for us to change? Or are we just going to kind of perpetuate the same cycle of what we've been doing? But we say we want the results we don't have, but is our why big enough? And yeah, go ahead, Rob.
That's and I like the way you say that. And in that why being big enough, I think that's that relationship munchable that you were tagging on just a second ago. Relationship, because in relationship, that's where connection is, right? And when you connect, that's because you're looking, you're listening actively, and you're playing back what you heard, and you're breathing, right? And when you start to breathe, you begin to take in, right? But when you're just moving and speaking and just doing, you're really trying to control, right? And so when you establish a relationship, you don't have to control that, because what you're seeking to do is to connect, right? So you assume then in this relationship munchable, if you're going to deal with people's needs, wants, desires, expectations, and then deliver on them, needs, wants, desires, expectations, then deliver on them, the I am he. You got to first know what your needs, wants, desires, expectations are and deliver on that. That's the why you were talking about. And then you have to assume the responsibility to manage yourself, then oversee the people, the thoughts of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Then you stand a chance not only of making more money, but of actually obtaining more opportunity to become the he that you want to be. Preparedness, with meeting the opportunity, people call it luck. We call it practice of the I am he. That's
Mm-hmm.
visionary. That's big picture. What's my big picture? And then I want to call the end before the beginning. I want to reverse the process. Here's what I'm going to be. Here are the steps to get there and the standards to make me successful in getting there. So in those steps, yeah, we can call them goals, but I'm talking about something more than goals. I'm talking about standards. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about looking and listening and learning and creating a legacy along the way in everything that we're doing. I'm talking about placing yourself in situations where people with means, power, influence, and money, influential people are, so that you can demonstrate the skills that they find desirable because you've been honing those and practicing those, diligently developing those. This increases your chances for success. And because they're going to increase your chances for success, you're at the right place at the right time with the right people, with the right skill set, then prosperity often increases and you're using your time more wisely. You're in the place that you need to be. If you want to ascend to some incredible height, the Bezos and the Brady's and the LeBrons and the Stephs, you've got to get into company like that. You say, well, I can't get into company like that. You just said it. And you're right, because you said it.
Right.
But when I wanted to understand a billionaire's mindset, I was like, Lord, I want to meet a billionaire and I want to talk to him. I want to meet a multimillionaire. I want to talk to them. Because before I die, there's some things I want to accomplish that I'm going to accomplish. And I need to understand that mindset. So not only the billionaires and the millionaires that I find in reading books, but also have the privilege of meeting actual human beings that are billionaires and having conversations either on a plane or going over to their house and understanding what they had to do and understanding this relationship munchable. They had to get first in relationship with themselves, and they detached from a lot of old habits which were standards of their lives so that they could become who they were. And when I tell you that in their company, if you're prepared, when preparedness meets opportunity, there will be an opportunity. I spoke to a billionaire on an airplane. We was talking, and he was telling me, he says, listen, the business that I'm in, he's in the hotel business, hotel space. And he owns like 50, Hiltons and this and that and some other major places. And we were traveling back to Arizona, and he says, I said, well, what are you getting ready to do? He says, I'm going to fire everybody. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to fire everybody? Why are you going to fire them all? Because they're not hitting my goals, my objectives that I set out. I said, you're the owner and the leader of the company, right? He said, yeah. I'm like, if you're the owner and leader of the company, I'm not a billionaire. I'm just trying to understand dynamics. Then that means you're not casting vision properly. So you're going to fire them because they can't carry out your vision. Maybe your vision is obscure and they can't see the vision. I don't know. I don't run your business. I'd love to be a part of your business if you want me to be. But I'm thinking that if you're going to run that business and you're going to be fair to the most important asset in your business, which is the human resource, then I would go in. You do whatever you want because you're a billionaire. Who am I to tell you anything? But I would go and I would make sure that I'm cascading, I'm giving to, I'm projecting and sharing the vision that I actually expect. And then if I don't fire them and they know you're coming there to fire them, they're going to trust you more and they're going to give you more in that time because they're going to know that you heard them and you take ownership and responsibility for your company. And you not having that vision in place that they can understand, that they can easily carry out. And I said, and then there could be some slugs there. Get rid of the slug juice. But if everybody's slug juice, that might be because they don't understand the vision. He was like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. And I'm like, I got chill bumps, right? I got little sweat beads coming off my head because I'm like, he didn't think about this. He's a billionaire. So I assume certain things. But all it comes back to is the relationship munchable, right? Needs, wants, desires, expectations, those kind of things, and understand how these affect us at every level. These are things that we have to imagine. These are things that we have to practice. These things have to change as we evolve. And if we don't allow for that change and that transformation as we're evolving, we've got the wrong standard against the goal. It ain't going to happen. And then that means we have the wrong emotion with the wrong standard against the goal, and that's going to create frustration. And then we're going to spend a lot of time because these things don't correlate. So listen to this, and I'll get this back. I want George to jump in on this. Listen, we're taxed twice as much for our idleness. We're rewarded twice as much for our initiative, 3 times more for our industry, 4 times more for our diligence. If you add creativity to that, you gain interest into the success vein. And that's when things just start to materialize and manifest. Ben Franklin said, make every hour do the work of 2. Make every hour do the work of 2. So if I know I'm going to be taxed more for my idleness means I might be using this old concepts that used to work, but they don't work for where I'm going now. So my I am he says, I'm confirming that I'm confident enough that my details matter, that the needs, wants, desires, and expectations of where I'm going and what I want to be matter enough for me to start practicing them and learning more about them from the minds of successful people, books, From the minds of successful people, I'm going to events to be in front of people that are successful who are doing more than what I'm doing. I just need to understand their mindset. I'm making myself available for these types of transformations so my world can grow and I can learn and I can become more of the I am he.
Yeah, one of the quotes that you mentioned also comes to mind is like, when the minutes matter, the hours take care of themselves.
100%.
So it's like utilizing every chance you can get, and then when it's time to relax, you have a time to relax. So it's not about always pressing the gas pedal. It's about pressing the gas pedal at the moments that are most important, and not when you can just get on your phone and waste away an hour and a half on whatever, Reddit, social media, reading about things that aren't in line with your goal.
Time is money.
Yeah, time is money, and there's so many distractions now. It's very easy.
Go ahead. George, many people squander time without awareness that they're squandering their life and opportunity.
Yeah.
Because we just dropped a cliche, time is money. But at the same time, you just gave a nugget. And the nugget is that we might be on social media doing all these other things, but we might be squandering that also precious resource called time without awareness. And that's killing my he or my she for women. And that means I'm missing an opportunity. I don't have to have full throttle. I'm just missing an opportunity because I'm not feeding. I'm not feeding my money. What you talking about? You're not feeding your money. I'm wasting time on stuff that ain't making me no money. You understand? I'm making money when I'm listening to Savage Will. I'm making money when I'm reading a book. I'm making money when I'm sitting down concepting and I'm telling myself, make every hour do the work of two. Make every hour do the work of two. Make every hour do the work of two. And I'm placing a demand on my mind, which right now may not be able to give me the answers and the responses. Right. But I'm telling it because I'm trying to make this money. I'm trying to make these inroads to affect more people. So I got to say, make every hour do the work of two. I've got to commit myself to that plan and recite that every day until it starts giving me a yield and start awakening me to that yield. So I can start seeing, imagining, disciplining, living it out, practice. So that at the right time, with the right people, in the right situation, there's a millionaire that's going to be looking at me. There's a millionaire that's going to be looking at George off of this broadcast and say, look, we want to capitalize what you guys are doing. This is good stuff. I want you to come into our business and I want you to teach this. This good stuff. I got some people, I'm trying to go to the next level with some of the people in my company. I like the way you guys approach things. That's good stuff. Practice.
It really just doesn't take a lot to step out nowadays too, because everyone is so distracted, right? Like, we always want to maximize the use of our time, like be at 1,000% when everyone's at 100%. But if we just show up every day, we just master the art of showing up to our dream every single day and be around the people and be around the teachers and be around the books and be around it. And then, just consume it as best as you can, like putting your best foot forward. Sometimes that's operating at 40%, but you're still doing it. You're stepping out to your dream. You're like trying to meet the world and your dream halfway, right? And then things will orient to where you'll start to meet more people. You'll start to have more of those conversations. You'll start to make more of that income. You'll start to have these opportunities to be around dreamers, builders, doers, and then you'll just start to see your plan flourish. And then you'll look up one day and say, hey, these were the things I was praying for such and such a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, or however long you've been working at whatever you're doing. It's going to happen one day. You can't not, right? Like there's certain things that no matter how hard I try, it's probably not going to happen. Like probably not going to be in the NBA in 2 years, no matter how much time I spend playing basketball. There's just certain caps to certain things, especially sports. But in the business world, in making income, in developing and honing in on skills, developing the way you talk to people, the team building, the bringing value to the table, that those are skills you can never stop working on. And then eventually you'll be able to be around people that you would have never thought you'd be at the table with.
That's right.
And it's all because of attitude, your mindset, and the continual pursuit of greatness and honing in and crafting on your skills. Like, you can't replace those things.
Can't do it. Here's the munchable. Your effort, man, doesn't mean that you have to exhaust yourself. You do have to respect yourself. You have to respect your time. You have to respect your hustle. And you've got to determine to make every hour do the work of two. Look, here's a quote. He who rises late must trot all day and shall scarcely overtake his business at night. Man, if you keep on trying to get that 8, and you keep on trying to get that 10 or 12 hours of rest in, and you're in your concept phase, you're going to miss some things, Jack. You might have to get comfortable with some 4-hour joints, and get up, and you might have to get up at 4, or might have to get up at 3:30 in the morning for a season of your life when the world is still quiet and the energy is not all amped up, where you can hear yourself think, right? And you're not competing with all the lights that are on, and you're not competing with all the members of your family that are clamoring for their time and space and for your time and space. You're coming to that place where calamity is out in the rest of the world, on the other side of the world, where it's light, and light is just starting to rise in your space, and you're able to move there because calamity's busy somewhere else, but you're moving inside of genius. You're moving inside of a moment of genius, a moment of untapped resource that you can just lock and dial into, and you just start writing, and you just start creating, and you just start imagining. Hey man, sixth sense is imagination. Those that are, and if I look at how wisdom is being dispensed right now in the world, we're in this age, right, where wisdom, major chunks of wisdom are being dispensed over time. Like we've gone through the industrial revolution, and we've gone past just a major advent in the 50s when we start looking at the computers and stuff like that. Now we're in another advent altogether. We're understanding the robotic side of our mind, how we put in the right kind of information continuously, and putting in the right kind of information continuously, how it minimizes the defect of our activity and our output, right? It minimizes it because the robot is going to be able to take the information in here and give us the output we're desirous of over here. And now we've grown into this advent, this new season where technology is flourishing, right? Wisdom is being released. So if I tap into the season of our age as human beings, pretty much whatever I think and I can imagine, I can have. I just have to get to the details. I've just got to get to the planning. I've got to get to the standards. I don't want to overload myself with the old crypto processes of old. They don't all work anymore. I have to deal with, I understand that this release has already occurred and is occurring. And people, children are imagining their businesses, and they're giving life to their businesses right away. Adults are the only ones tell them they can't do it, and then they do it. And adults are like, well, you're not going to be a millionaire. Then a millionaire. And adults are always telling them what they can and can't be. That's because their time and their season left. But if they would just stop and allow for themselves to come into the munchable of a relationship with themselves and respect their time, respect their hustle, respect the work that's already been put in, respect, just being who you are and that you can. Man, if they ever come into that hour and make every hour do the work of two, man, write that down. Make every hour do the work of two. Write that down. Ask yourself all throughout the day. Ask yourself many times each day, how can I make every hour do the work of two? Write it down. This might seem like it's crazy. I'm trying to tell you something. We can have these things. What is it that you want? You want a closer walk with God? Write it down. How can I make every hour do the work of two to have a closer walk? You want to start your own business? Write it down. How can I make every hour do the work of two? ideas, concepts, practice, details. It all matters. You got to be concerned with getting results, but sometimes you got to understand that some answers flow slowly at first, but then they accelerate. But the practice of being in that place, the practice of asking the question, the practice of envisioning making every hour work and give you the equivalent of 2, the practice creates a place of discovery for you. And that place of discovery becomes evolutionary. You begin to morph into this wisdom, which is rewarding those that make the time. There's some other billionaires and trillionaires, we don't see them yet. They're making the time and they're respecting their hustle and they're respecting the work that they're putting in right now. You said 20 Airbnbs. That's getting ready to happen. 30. That's going to happen. Why? You said it. You're putting the work in. You're doing the do. You're respecting your time, the research, the hustle. You're respecting the brains of people that have already done it. And this is your course. So guess what? It's going to happen. Yo, I just lost 28 pounds, since April. And you're like, how does that work with this? Because I wanted to. And I said, that which is natural comes first and that which is spiritual. I knew it was connected. And so I said, if I drop 28 and I got 15 more to go, this other thing that I'm working on, at which the podcast was one of them, that's going to work and it's going to blow up. And at first it was slow going, losing 28. I was picking up 5 just because of how the body works. You understand? And then boom, the 28 start coming down. Now I'm starting to trim. Now the inches are starting. My body's starting to take on a new shape and tone. My nutritional value, what I value as nutrition, completely different. Hydration, completely different. Muscular fitness, completely different. Evolutionary. I had to respect what I allowed to happen. Then I had to dismiss that it had a hold on me. Then I had to respect that I wanted to do this new thing. I had to respect that I had to put some new details into my life. Practice it. Imagine it. What is my body going to look like when I drop 45 pounds? 50? What is it going to look like? But that was my goal. And I wanted to have so much of it, which I have had, done by this time. And it's done. That's the same model that I was using also for the podcast and getting it released. And then there's another part that we got to do to get it released. This is because I had to understand the dynamics of it, imagine it, practice it, respect it, get in relationship to it, understand what's useful, what's not, get brilliant people around me. You understand? What are you going to do? You got time. What are you going to respect about your time? Are you respecting your hustle? Are you demanding make every hour do the work or 2? Are you going to ask yourself how many times, several times a day, how can I make every hour do the work of 2? Because my I am he, my I am she is ready to explode, but I don't have enough to make it happen yet. George.
Yeah, it's really good. Is the quote that comes to mind that you were talking about earlier is those that say they can and those that say they can't are both right.
Yep.
And it's the I am he, the I am she, that starts with like I believe.
Yep.
So and it just starts with what you have to get real creative and real specific about your goals. They won't always turn out like that, but it's almost like you're putting in a request to God, and then he starts working, you start working, and then the real practicality of what I was hitting at earlier is like how you see God speaking to you is like, if I'm praying for those things, then I'll gain that awareness. Like if I'm praying to have a conversation, I'm going to look for opportunities where, hey, who's looking to have a conversation? Like I'm going to get out of my own head and start to have that awareness. So it's like the opportunity presents itself, but I'm also doing the work and meeting the opportunity halfway. So it's just putting the work in, getting the time to set your goals and write your goals down. Like I just bought some whiteboards yesterday, and all I'm going to do in my house and in my room is write my goals down. Right when I wake up, I look up and there's my whiteboard. Boom. Like, do I want to hit the snooze? No, there are my goals right there, like Robbie's got. And, that's a biblical statement as well. Like, tie these things around your neck, put them on your doorstep, like put them talk about it at dinner, all these things. Like, if you don't talk about it, and you don't have those people on board with you that are supporting you and asking you, hey, how is this going? Then you're not spending the time and putting the focus into it to meet that opportunity halfway. So there's some workings that happen outside of you, but as long as you're doing the work and doing the prep work and visualizing that opportunity when it comes, like, it's very easy for young people to get a jump start.
Yeah.
If you're having questions on, like, who do I talk to? How do I find someone that's going to help me gain the skills and the resources beyond books to get out in the community, see this in live action? Do just that. Get out in the community. Go to the Chamber of Commerce. Like, start going to events. Like, these are the people that are the decision makers in the community. They're the business owners. They're the people that are successful, especially if you live in a city hub. Like, they're going to see you walk in the door in your 20s or below, and they're going to be like, hey, there's a young guy, young girl trying to, get out there, and you're going to find people that want to help you. And then even if you're just a fly on the wall, like, start asking the questions. What did you do when you were my age? Like, what would you say to someone your age or like my age about, who you've become and the skills I need to adopt to get where you are? And those sort, like, start just imagining that. Be like, okay, maybe I need to get a speaking course. I don't like the way my voice sounds sometimes. How do I talk more confidently? How do I do the things and, like, get people to buy in to what my vision is, to where, like, someone with a little bit more skill set or different skill set can come in and we can work together and then move, synchronistically in the same direction to achieve, something that we couldn't have done on our own, or just help each other get to where we want to be. Right. And nothing's permanent. So you can, like, branch off at some point and do your own thing. Like, it's just about what you want to do and who you're bringing into your life and seeking to help you get there.
So, man, let me tell you something. That's hot right there. I want to drop a munchable on everybody. Discovery is evolutionary. Discovery is evolutionary. I am he, I am she is the same as I am who I am. So walk with me for a second. In the Old Testament, Yehovah Elohim, what we refer to as God, in his name that he gave to Moses, he said, I am who I am. Yehovah Elohim, I am who I am. Is what he said. Watch this. Moses is 80. Moses is then connecting with the name and connecting with the possibilities. And this is what he said. This is what God told him. He said to tell the Israelites, which is what he's saying even today, I am has sent me to you. For what purpose? To free them from slavery, to free them from every mental, emotional, physical bondage that they found themselves in. Spiritual bondage that they found themselves in. Exodus 3:14. It's no different today. So then when Jesus came along with the 7 metaphoric I am statements that he made, he was identifying with God, the God of creation, who told Moses, I am who I am, right? And so he's in this evolutionary process. And when you look at that evolutionary process, he said, I'm the bread of life. Man, I can feed you with concept and understanding of what you need to do in order to get where you need to go. I'm the light of the world. I'm opening up the possibilities of your mind. Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. I'm giving you light and understanding on what you need to make things happen. I am the door. So once you start this process, right, I'm going to open up doors that you can't open, shut doors you can't close. I'm the shepherd. I'm going to shepherd all of your thoughts. I want you to understand all your thoughts. You'll be able to shepherd all of your thoughts and bring them systematically, synchronistically, like you said, synergistically, strategically, into alignment to accomplish everything you need in your life. I'm the resurrection and life. You thought you were dead. because you spent all these years doing this and nothing happened. You let it take hold to you. You had empty talk, empty walk. And now I'm saying I'm the resurrection and the life, and I'm giving you new life to accomplish what you really need to accomplish in this life. Then he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Look, all these other methods didn't work until you came into this I am reality. I am he or I am she. I am who I am. Until you come into this reality, you can't have the toast. You can't sit at the table. You have to come into that reality. And that way, that truth, that life will feed you. Then I am the true vine. Listen, that I am means you're connected. You're right there in the fruit bearing vein, the success vein. It ensures that you shall have what you believe and what you speak. These things are real. And that's an evolutionary process. Man, and this is one of those places where once you get a hold to and you look at that discovery, you look at that that developmental side, you start to realize, wait a minute, I'm gonna go through the same processes. I'm gonna understand the same processes, but it's gonna bring me to I am who I am. I am he, or I am she for the ladies. When you get to that place and you know that that discovery is evolutionary, you know that discovery is going to manifest, and you realize it's the way, the truth, and the life, you are excited, you're motivated, you start writing more, you start believing greater, you start speaking into existence what and who you are. You start speaking so that it can manifest the discoverables and the people you need to meet and the money you need to make and the people that need to invest in what you're doing. You start to see it and believe it. Why? Because I am has sent me to you. This is giant. It's just good stuff. George.
Yeah, I think it'd be a disservice not to provide some sort of practical application to like the daily routine. Something I've been doing lately, I was talking to Robbie before the broadcast, is that I have this journal that it's kind of prompted, has a couple prompts, but basically you're supposed to write 3 times a day. So like when you wake up, somewhere around lunch or midday, and then before you go to bed, you're writing your goals and your dreams down. So like my specifically is a sales goal right now. And it's also a goal with the Airbnbs. So I write that 3 times in the morning, 6 times like at lunch, 9 times at right before bed. And it's like a way of just like meditating on the things you're after and being focused on it. And then there's a gratitude portion at the end. It's like, these are the things I'm grateful for. Have I noticed any changes? These sorts of things. And it just allows you, in the morning when you don't want to focus on anything, that's the best time to focus on your goals. In the morning when the only time or only thing you want to think about is hitting the snooze, when you like change and orient your focus on your goals, like there's something that starts working inside of you that it doesn't seem like this unsurmountable thing. It seems like, okay, I'm just going to wake up and go and do it, and I'm focused on it. I know the steps I need to take in order to accomplish it. I just need to keep trusting the process and keep getting after it. So having some sort of daily practice where you're writing your goals, writing your feelings down, like getting rid of like the disbelief, the negative emotions of your pursuit of your goals, because if your goals are big enough and worth chasing after enough, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get down. You're going to be like, no, you're going to think about quitting. I had a mentor say, if you're not thinking about quitting ever in your process of chasing whatever you are chasing, it's not big enough. It's not worth it enough. It's not, because we all want to achieve great things. Not everyone wants to do the work and put in the hours of, pre-flourishing that's necessary to like do it. Like seeds are planted in the dark, they're buried. Yeah. So like growth can feel similar. And it's, you have to do all the work before like anyone believes in you.
Put your
because people aren't going to believe in your journey, your goals, your things before they flourish. Because that's just how people are. Like, you can't keep telling people that you're going to do all these things. You're going to say someone wants to lose weight, but they're not doing the things in order to lose that weight. They're not going to believe in your goals because you're not showing them proof that you're following them and chasing them. So like, talk is cheap to a lot of people. So unless they see results, you know, they're not going to buy in. So part of that is silencing the energy vampires by not speaking to them.
Right.
But unless you have like a daily practice where you're reminding yourself in an intimate setting by yourself or with your spouse, you know, when you have a spouse that's on the same wavelength and you two are like working towards the same thing and it's healthy, those things can flourish even quicker. And it's really cool to see. But having that practical application is important, because if we don't give you anything to go out and do anything, and we're not doing it ourselves, then that's like a broken truth. It just sounds good, you know?
I love it. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I love it, man. Years ago, in prayer, so you guys know my disposition. I'm a believer. I'm a minister, and on this podcast, I make no excuses about it. And people that have a problem with it, that's your problem, not mine. So one of the things I learned a long time ago was make no small plans for the Lord. This is something He breathed into my spirit, and this is along the lines of what you just finished hearing from George, right? You got to have some practical plans put together. So when I started to look at make no small plans for the Lord, He breathed that on me. Now I realized what Lord means. That meant Master Savior. Wow, I'm like, wow, whoa. If He's the Master, that means He can control everything that I'm gonna make a plan for. Savior, that means He can save me from every bad mistake I can make. So I should be fearless in my pursuit of making those small plans for the Lord. Now, I have to be careful of how many people I let in on those plans, because if I fail forward. But other people may not understand that, and they might go out and sing your failures instead of singing your praises. So I have to be very careful about that. So what I had to do was to define my needs, wants, desires, and expectations in my delivery model. Once I understand what my needs are, so that they're not competing against the plan, I understand what my wants are, so they're not competing against the plan in something negative emotion. When I understand what my desires are, because these needs, wants, and desires are deeper depths of understanding, and they help you build standards. When I understand what my desires are, and they're not competing against making those small plans, and I understand what the expectation is, which is greater. So after I know what my needs are, up here top, what my wants are, a little deeper, what my desires are, that's getting a little bit more detailed, a little finer. And then my expectations, because I'm doing this, then I expect what, right? Then I have to put together a delivery system. That's my delivery model. And so what is my delivery model going to look like? What does that need to be? And I was telling George a long time ago, the late, great Al Courtney told me, he said, read a book 15 minutes a day. You'll finish a 200-page book in 30 days, 15 minutes a day. You can put it down. So I got to a place in my delivery model. I felt I needed to read 5 books for 15 minutes. George just finished telling you, let you in on his journal. He journals 3 times a day, 3, 6, 9, with some great affirmations. Write that down. Find your system. What is your delivery model going to need to look like? And then put reward yourself in time buckets, timestamps, right? Find what your benchmarks are, the things that you realize that you've accomplished in those places, and they become benchmarks for your next place of growth and development. And then you got to do like Stephen Covey did. I added some stuff that I learned from him. Model, mentor, manage, motivate, right? But I put inside of there meaning and manifest. Because if I model, that's fine. I need to model. That's my delivery model. Mentor, I want to share that with somebody else, because when I talk it out, I'm reliving it and I'm picking up something new. Model, mentor, manage. I got to manage me. I got to manage my time. I got to manage my standards. I got to manage my goals. I got to manage my processes. Motivate. I'm the one responsible for motivating me. It's not up to anybody else. No one else should be able to motivate me but me. And that's why I have a direct line of relationship with the creator of the universe, with the creator of everything, my Lord, my Savior, because now he can help me master my thoughts. Now he can save me from the thoughts that have been mastering me. Then I get the privilege of manifesting. I manifest. I begin to manifest what I want. I told you. I told some people, made myself accountable to some people. I said, I'm going to launch the podcast and the top of the new year. Q1, I'm launching a podcast. I made myself accountable to some other people. I said, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I want to have the first 25 off by September. It's 28. And I want to have the rest of it off by December. So I'm en route to getting the rest of that. Manifest. But then I have to have meaning behind, or what is the meaning behind all of this? I am he. I'm the composite. I'm the compilation. I'm the confirmation. I'm the confidence. I'm the completion of these things that I have written down that I have believed in. And because I've been able to achieve these little things, it has given me the strength and the impetus to go and achieve something greater. So the book has to come out. I have to get the book out. I've been working on my master's for a long time. The master's is done. I'm working on some other. These things have to come out. These are the little steps that accentuate the big steps and manifest into making those small plans for the Lord and manifest into even greater things. I meet the right kind of people at the right place at the right time to be able to do the right things. I begin to manifest by speaking into the ether that multimillionaire that's been looking for our podcast loves what we do and is going to come in and say, listen, this is what I want y'all to do. I'm going to put some dough behind this. I'm put some gooby dust behind this. and it's going to happen. It's already in the making. They're just trying to find us. Some of you are taking the data and you're like, man, this is good stuff. And it's going to change my life. And I'm going to realize, wait a minute, I am he has sent me to you, so that you can be who you're supposed to be. I am he or I am she. I am who I am. George.
Some of that gooby dust.
Gooby.
Doobie or gooby?
Gooby dust.
Yeah.
That's years ago, that was my I don't know, I just created the thing, and it means money. In high school, me and a friend of mine, we created our own language. Real talk. It's in the back of our yearbook. Mm-hmm. And we would come up to each other, and there were things that we would say that we understood between each other. Yeah. And so we were speaking like a foreign language right in front of other people. And so people would try to catch up onto it. So when they did the yearbook, I have my yearbook sitting up there. When they did the yearbook, in the back of our yearbook, they put some of our statements in there because there were things that no one understood. So we would tell, here's what the statement is, and this is what it actually meant. So it's in our yearbook. It's some funny stuff. So anyway, I came up with the word gooby dust. Gooby dust is money. Yeah. But you always want to have a lot of gooby dust, because otherwise you're pulling lint out your pocket. So imagine having lint, because I hadn't put in the proper work to get paid, right? Put your work in, pay the man, get paid. Those are principles of life for me. And so if I didn't do that, then I have this little bit of gooby dust, and I might pull up a lint ball. But if I've done the right thing, I got gooby dust, and I'm pulling out some fat money. I can put a band around it. You understand? I got a knot. I want a knot. I need some knots. You understand? But go ahead, man. I'm tripping for a minute.
Yeah, but I love that. That's an awesome story. Yeah, it's just honing in on your craft. You just can't do it enough, and it's just a constant process. And it's like, what am I gonna do when I wake up? I'm gonna keep working on the same thing I've been doing. You know, you chop at that one spot on the tree long enough, it's gonna fall. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And you have the right ingredients, you have the tools, you have the axe, you have, you know, the willpower, the strength to continue to have the determination to whack that tree at the same spot, the same angle. You have the wedge created, and it's going to fall. You know exactly where it's going to fall. It's not going to hurt anything. You know, you planned, you prepped, you have a schedule. Blocking your time, you know, and or else you'll just see time kind of slip by. If you have no purpose, no intention behind it, it won't have any purpose or intention. It's just going to kind of slip on. And that's the way it is if you don't have the focus and determination to put into things, it's just going to melt away. And some ways I find myself, creating a bigger sense of urgency, more focus, more clarity, more mental stamina. I think that's a big portion of it too, is like people get tired, and when you work a full-time job, if you have any in addition, like goals in addition to that, you're not in the right career. But you have to keep working. You have people that depend on you. You have to get a paycheck. You have to pay the bills, get the groceries, those sorts of things. I feel that because you don't have the energy to do other things in addition to that to get you out of that position to where you're reliant upon that job. You have to find motivation to do it, but you also have to find ways to have the energy to do it. For me, it's not going out on the weekends. It's not going out after work. It's getting to work on my goals because those things give me energy, right? Even when I have none, it's like those are the passions. Those are the things that fuel me. That's the reason why I feel like I'm on planet Earth. When that's in balance, I feel like anything can do, like I can do anything. Everything is working in my favor for the greater good. No weapon formed against me can prosper.
Listen to this preacher right here.
When I'm pursuing the things that I feel like I'm designed to do, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So it's only when I don't do it where I feel like I'm sleeping on my life, where I feel like things aren't quite right, where I feel like I'm not going to get the results because, I know I'm not putting in the work. And you have to develop that self-justice, so to speak, of like, I know I'm doing the work and I know the results are going to come. Therefore, if you're not doing the work, you're not going to get the results. So it's like, these are the things you say you desire and you're going for. And if you're not putting that work in, and you're someone who's a one more thinker, Ed Milet would say, or a savage will thinker and a savage will doer, you're going to get frustrated at yourself and you're not going to be happy unless you're pursuing what it is you've set your mind to. Joe Rogan says something cool, is like, he's not happy unless he feels like he's struggling, unless he feels like he's working towards something, breaking himself down, building back up stronger, working
100%.
towards something that is hard and difficult, lifting a bunch of weight, challenging himself and his viewpoints. Like, he's in a pretty cushy phase of life, but even in that phase, he feels like if he's not moving forward, he's dying, kind of. So it's like the shark. Yeah, hungry and humble, still learning, still growing, knows he doesn't know everything, still just like a thirst for knowledge. Yeah, figuring it out. And I think that's what makes him so great, is he just has a mind that can kind of communicate to all phases of life, different viewpoints, because he himself has that open perspective of like, hey, there's things I need to learn. I don't have it all figured out. As much as other people want to think that they know everything, they don't. You become an elite level human when it's like there are the things you don't know, but then there are the things you don't even know that you don't know. And when people understand that, they have that humble approach of like, hey man, really, I don't have it all figured out. There's things I can learn. There's something I can learn from you, Robbie. There's something I can learn from the guy on the street corner. When you have that approach, is like, you just value communication. You value people more. You value, because they can present value, and then you can present value. And when you have that equation, instead of this me versus you mentality, abundance flows. Like, you have great conversations, you have great connections, you have that energy. Like, I see all these people, like a Joe Rogan, like a Grant Cardone, like Gary Vee, even Andrew Tate, as much as people want to hate on him, what I see in common with all those people is their energy. It's not even just that I want the results they have in life. I want to feel like the way they feel, and speak with the passion they have, and have the confidence and the swagger of, knowing like what I'm doing is important, and knowing I'm filling a role, and knowing I'm helping people, because to me, there's really no better feeling, I think. You can have all the things, you can but it's just nothing compared to like having that role and fulfilling that purpose in life. And I think that's what my vision is for Savage World. That's what I think it's all about. And I think it's really cool and important for people to find what makes them just like walk on water, basically.
Become the word of God. Another one of those statements that the Lord gave me. Make no small plans for the Lord and become the word of God. I remember giving that to my mentor. And my mentor said, man, you're out your mind. He said, you can't do that. I said, why? I said, this is what I got out of prayer. He says, no one can do that. Only Jesus did that. I said, I think that's the goal that he gave to every one of us, is to become the word of God. Therefore, when we read, when we amplify, because that's part of what this journey is all about, amplify potential. When we amplify what we've read and what we've heard, and it becomes our way of life, it becomes germane to everything that we're about, then we're becoming that word of God. That's that passion, that energy. Some cats that are out there right now affectionately know me as Coach C, because I used to coach football and do personal training. And so they Coach C. And so I always tell them, put your work in, pay the man, get paid, grind, right? Those are just core life statements. And when you do that, I always tell them that you have a reasonable expectation that you shall be able to play this game, not only play this game, but you will have earned the right to play this game of life. And you'll have earned an opportunity to make uncommon wealth. You don't have to make ordinary wealth. You don't have to make minimum wage that everybody else is making. You can make uncommon wealth. At the companies I've worked for, I said, listen, if you put your work in and pay the man and trust the process, you're going to get paid uncommon wealth, uncommon income. You will make more money than everyone else in Humana. You'll make more money than everyone else in Ports America. Why? Because if you put to practice these principles that I'm sharing with you, those principles are going to speak about your skill set. It's going to bring you into an audience of people. They'll see your skill set. They'll see that you understand certain dynamics, and they're going to want to promote you. My goal and my objective is to get you promoted up from under me out above me if you can. It doesn't matter, because the goal is to get you promoted and get you out there. That's where I serve best, to get you up, get you out, so you can realize, man, I can do all things, right? Mm-hmm. So Ed Milet, I dig this guy, right? And this is one of the things he said: what you think leads you to what you need. What you think leads you to what you need. So what do you have need of? You have need of money, then you got to sit down and mind map that thing with your needs, wants, desires, expectations, and your delivery model, right? Manage, meaning, mentor, motivate, manifest. Those things will start to happen in your life, but you have to have that pursuit. Here's something else he said: these are worlds of thought, standards, and evolutionary energies, life force, and states of being. These manifest ideas, hopes, desires, and dreams. The pursuit of your goals, when properly executed, is the transference of energy into action. This Ed Milet, multi-millionaire, he was doing a teaching. We heard him in Vegas. But this is a guy now who has 3 or 4 $35+ million houses on the most expensive real estate in California, and they're all down in the line. But this is somebody that came out of nothing. This is somebody that came out of a grossly dysfunctional family, with a father before he passed away, long before he passed away, was an alcoholic. But when he passed away, he was a man of God that had come back, and they came to have a great relationship where they had no relationship before. But he wanted a relationship with his dad. He wanted his father to be healed and experience certain things in his life. And because this is what he wanted, and because he put his actions and his words to use and to work, he saw and experienced those things with his dad, and his dad with him before his dad passed away. He wanted to have an uncommon life, to have multi millions of dollars in order to serve and help other people. But he put those things, he put his words out there, he put his actions to it, and he believed, right? And so by doing all those things and making no small plans for the Lord and becoming the word of God and challenging himself to what he believed, so it could manifest to what needed to happen, he was able to create and become this person. And it's never too late for any of us. It's not too late for me. It's not too late for any of you all that are looking right now. This is what transformation is all about. This is what Savage Will is all about. Get unhinged, dudes, and do that. Get unhinged, right? Man, we're locked into some paradigm, and it's time for a paradigm shift. We need an listen, if there's anything old-fashioned, let me bring back these two old-fashioned words: paradigm shift. That is a diametric shift of everything you think, everything you've reasoned on, everything that has controlled your life and held you bound. It's time for a change. It's time to put that thing to rest. Give it a proper burial so you can move forward, because our life has more meaning and we're supposed to serve at a far greater level than we've been able to do heretofore. And it's not a judgment. It's just what we got to do. Our time is almost up.
I love it. If you're tuning in with us, we really appreciate you guys. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, tell some of your friends about it if it resonated with you. We're going to be here back live 11/11 next Saturday with some more knowledge of, just how you can unlock, unhinge, and step into the best version of yourself. That's our hope. That's why we're here. And, just join us in that pursuit.
Good work, George. Hey, love you guys, man. Appreciate every last one of you. Subscribe, man. Let's do this thing. Savage Will, we out.
We're out.